Alright everyone, this is Zero Budget Geek and welcome back to my overview review of the Eldritch Moon expansion set for Magic Duels. If you missed my last episode, we covered all the white cards. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the blue cards and kind of going down the line. Again, all these cards are brand new to me. I've just unlocked them and I'm going through them and just giving you my thoughts on them. And just see what I think, and let's explore and see what we have available to play with. So first here we have Advanced Stitchwing, 2 blue, 3 colorless, a zombie horror. It's an uncommon 3/4 with flying. So a 3/4 with flying for 5 mana, kind of pricey, but let's see what its other ability is. For 1 blue and 2 colors, discard 2 cards, return Advanced Stitchwing from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Wow, so he brings himself back from the grave. You do have to discard 2 cards, but with stuff like Delirium and lots of ways to get things back from the grave, this guy could actually be really good. And actually, you could probably have tossed him in the graveyard prior you don't even have to play him. You just use something to ditch him in the graveyard and then use his ability to bring him back. So really interesting. I could see some neat tricks going on with that. Alright, let's look at this bottom card here. We have the Fogwalker, 1 blue, 1 colorless. It's a 1/3 common spirit creature, and it has Skulk, so this creature can't be blocked with creatures with greater power. When Fogwalker enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So we've seen that ability before. It's always very useful. It's pretty nice for 2 cost and on a 1/3 body, so not bad for blue. This guy could be a good early blocker, and he can probably get in for some sneaky damage. So pretty neat little creature. I mean, there's probably better things for that cost, but it's not too terrible. Maybe it'll go in a spirit deck. All right. Here we have Convolute, 1 blue, 2 colorless. It's an common instant counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. Well, pretty good for a counter spell. 4 is very costly. That will last you pretty far into the game. So not bad. Doesn't have any other drawbacks. So that'll probably see some play. Okay, here we have the Grizzled Angler, 1 blue, 2 colorless, a 2/3 uncommon human. You tap them, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then if there is a colorless creature card in your graveyard, transform Grizzled Angler. Okay, well, so we already saw the put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, so that'll help with the Advanced Stitchwing. So there's some synergy there. And then if you get a colorless creature, he transforms into an Eldrazi fish. I've never seen that before. It's a 4/5, which is not bad, and pays 6. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. Well, that's interesting. It's an angler. Okay, yeah, anglerfish. Okay, it's luring them in. Kind of a gimmicky card. They're just easier ways to get a 4/5 creature, so I'm not very impressed by this. This cost a 3 mana for this is not it's not that life-changing at that point in the game, so I don't know about this. I mean, because you play him turn 3, you won't get to do the tapping to turn 4. Let's say it does work, so you could possibly get a turn 4 4/5, but more likely it'll be turn 5 or 6. So it's not, I don't think it's that good. You guys can prove me wrong. Make a deck with them and prove me wrong. Alright, we have Displaced, 1 blue, 2 colorless. It's an instant common. Exile up to 2 target creatures you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Alright, so exile up to 2 target creatures you control, then return those. Okay, so you basically okay, so you can use this to save 2 of your creatures, or use it to activate the abilities of this guy here. So it'll save your creatures and reactivate, comes into play ability. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I can see some neat tricks with that. Alright. Imprisoned in the Moon, 1 blue, 2 colorless, a rare aura. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land. With tap, add colorless to your mana pool and loses all other card types and abilities. That is awesome. Here's an answer to planeswalkers. I mean, you use it on anything else, but Enchanted permanent is a colorless land. Yeah, it just turns it into a colorless land that does nothing else. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, but it'll give you here's a nice answer to planeswalkers. It is an aura, so it can be gotten rid of, but man, pretty nice. That's cool. I like the theme of that card. Very interesting. Okay, Docent of Perfection, 2 blue, 3 colorless. It's an insect horror, and it's a rare, and it's a 5/4 for 5 mana. Not too terrible, and it is flying, so that's pretty good cost. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 blue human wizard creature token onto the battlefield. Then if you control 3 or more wizards, transform Docent of Perfection. So getting wizards is not very hard. He gets his own wizards, but there's other wizard cards that you can have in your deck. So a 5/4 with flying that gives you other creatures is not bad for the cost. That's why he's a rare. But what does he transform into? Final Iteration. An Eldrazi insect. He becomes a flying 6/5. Wizards you control get +2/+1, so they become 3/2s and have flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 blue human wizard creature token onto the battlefield. So this could be really interesting. I'd love to see a deck built around this, or you know, some kind of horrors or whatever. We've seen insects similar to this in the prior set, so it's kind of building off of that. So I do like these insect horrors. They didn't look like you were able to do much with them in the last set. Maybe there's better things we can do with them now. Maybe there's a viable deck. I'd like to see that. Okay, an Ingenious Scab, 1 blue, 2 colorless, a zombie horror. It's a 2/3 common, and it has prowess, so prowess is always good. I'm actually kind of getting tired of prowess, but prowess on a 2/3 body is really nice. And Ingenious Scab, for 1 blue, Ingenious Scab gets +1/-1 until end of turn. So you can sort of, with the right enough mana, you can flip-flop his power along with his prowess. So, very interesting. I don't know if this will go in a prowess deck though, because it's at 3 cost. He's not very fast, but he's got a pretty big body. So for a prowess creature, so I don't know. Might be good. I don't know. All right, Dragon though, 1 blue, 2 colorless. It's a sorcery. Return target creature to its owner's hand, and you draw a card. I don't like the fact that it's sorcery speed, but you do get a card draw out of it. So is that worth it? I don't know. For the most part, I think I still prefer instant speed stuff and not the draw, but you know, I guess this could be good for certain decks. It's not a terrible card, but generally this is the kind of effect I want to do on my opponent's turn for the most part. So you know, this could be good for some of those mill decks though. You know, that could be interesting there. Maybe that's what it's for. Laboratory Brute, 1 blue, 3 colorless, a zombie horror. It's a 3/3 common. 4 mana for 3/3 is not good, but when Laboratory Brute enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. So another Delirium enabler, and can also go good with that advanced Stitchwing. So but there's probably better ways to get stuff in your graveyard, so I'm not impressed by it. Alright, we have the Enlightened Maniac, 1 blue, 3 colorless. Okay, this is not necessarily an Eldrazi card. This is probably replacing something else. I know some cards were replaced, and some cards from Origins were taken out and some were put in. I don't know what those are. I gotta look it up. But anyway, we have a Enlightened Maniac, 1 blue, 3 colorless, a 0/2. When Enlightened Maniac enters the battlefield, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield. So you get a 0/2 and a 3/2 token. I guess there could be some use for this, but it looks pretty crappy to me. We have Lunar Force. 1 blue, 2 colors. It's an enchantment. When an opponent casts a spell, sacrifice Lunar Force and counter that spell. I've seen cards like this in ages past, in the older, and I've never really liked them because, you know, the biggest strength of a counter spell is not even the fact that it can counter something, it's the threat that it can counter something. So when you telegraph that you can counter something, your opponent can play around it. So they can just play a really crappy card or something really cheap just to get you to sacrifice this and then play something bigger. So you know, nah. For the most part, I'd rather just have a regular counter spell. The fact that it's an enchantment may be useful. Maybe it can go good in some kind of enchantment deck, but as is, I don't really like it. Alright, we have the Exultant Cultist. 1 blue, 2 colors. It's a human wizard. It's a 2/2. When he dies, you draw a card. Yeah, 2/2 for 3 mana. Not super great. He is a wizard, so maybe that will make him more useful, but not really. Man, I got hiccups here. Not really crazy about it. Alright, we have the Nipple Gauss Herald. 1 blue, 2 colors. I love the picture. It's a spirit, a 2/1 spirit. It has flash. You may cast this anytime you can cast an instant, and it has flying. So a 2/1 with flash and flying for 3 mana is not bad at all. And when Nipple Gauss Herald or another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent control. So I do like this guy. Very nice. You cast him on your opponent's turn, probably during their attack phase. Tap something down, keeps it from attacking you, and then you'll have a creature to fly in on your next turn. So, and then he can always be a surprise blocker. All sorts of nifty things you can do with this guy. So I like this guy. Has some cool art, and he's only an uncommon, so you can throw 3 of them in your deck. Alright, moving on, we've got a few more cards to cover. We have the Nipples of Frost. 2 blue, 2 colorless, a spirit creature. It's a rare. It's a 3/3 with flying. It does have prowess, so could this go in a prowess deck for 4 mana? Probably. Let's see what it does. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, tap target creature and opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So yes, I could definitely see this going into a prowess deck. It's not too terribly high cost, and it is a prowess creature in its own right, so you can make this into a 4/4, 5/5, even a 6/6 thing, trampling, or not trampling, but flying in on your opponent. And the fact that it's gonna tap down, it's gonna tap your opponent's guys down and keep them tapped down every time you do an instant sorcery. So even on the turn when you play, you know, on the turn you're not gonna get to attack, you're still gonna be able to use his ability. So this is a really nice card for a prowess deck, and actually I can see this even going in a non-prowess deck just for its locking down ability. So pretty cool card. I like it. We have Scour the Laboratory. 2 blue and 4 colorless. Very high cost for an instant. It's an uncommon instant. Delirium. Scour the Laboratory costs 2 less to cast if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. So you could have this cost 4 mana and you draw 3 cards. So, draw 3 cards. That's a nice ability. Delirium is really hard to do, so is it worth it at, you know, at its full cost? Not really. You kind of want this at Delirium, but however, even late game, if you play this, if you hard cast this late game, drawing 3 cards could be really good. So not a terrible card, I guess, but you don't want to have your whole deck full of them. This might be like something you could throw 1 in your deck or something just to sort of refill your hand late game, if that, but I don't know. Undecided on that card. Okay, we have a Spontaneous Mutation. 1 blue. It's an enchantment or it's flash. You can cast this as an instant. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -X -0, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. So basically to nerf the attack of something. Basically one of your opponent's critters attacking you. This could be good if they're expecting to trade in a combat and then you basically just screw up those plans. So not bad. And the fact that it's an enchantment is kind of nice because it'll give you kind of an ongoing effect. So not bad for a 1 cost blue card. And even when you only have a few cards in your deck, in your graveyard, it's still pretty good. So I kind of like it. It's kind of neat. There's probably better things you want to do, but I don't hate it. Alright, take inventory. 1 blue, 1 colorless. In a common sorcery, draw a card, then draw cards equal to the number of cards named take inventory in your graveyard. Now, I think I did see this card on a preview before, so the first time you use this is just going to be a draw card, and it kind of sucks that it's sorcery, but then the next one you have, draw cards equal to the number of cards named take them. So the next one you play will draw you 2 cards, which is really nice. So this could be an interesting card. I think it's actually highly regarded. I'd have to see it in action, but you know, could be good. Okay, Tattered Haunter. 1 blue, 1 colorless, a 2/1 flying spirit creature. It's a common. Tattered Haunter can block only creatures with flying. I've never been a fan of those guys. It's like the Welcome Turn. Basically is the Welcome Turn, but it's a spirit. The fact that it's a spirit could make it really, really useful. So I'm not going to dismiss this card outright. In the right deck, this could in a spirit deck, this could be actually really, really good. So you know, expect to see it there, but nowhere else. Alright, here we have the Unsubstantiate. 1 blue, 1 colorless, a uncommon instant. Return target spell or creature to its owner's hand. So that's pretty nice. Good tempo card there. Return target spell, that's pretty nice. Sometimes when you counter spell, you don't need to counter it forever. You know, maybe just stopping 1 spell for 1 turn could mean the difference between victory or defeat. So I think you're gonna see more of this card. People will probably mostly use it for a creature, but I could see using it against a spell at the right time being very, very useful. Alright, and the last card we're going to look at today is the Wharf Infiltrator. 1 blue, 1 colorless. It's a 1/1 horror, but it is a rare, and it's got a cool picture there. Alright, Skulk. This creature can't be blocked by creatures greater power. Okay. When Wharf Infiltrator deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So this will help with some of those delirium and madness decks and all sorts of shenanigans. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2. If you do, put a 3/2 colorless or drowsy horror creature token into the battlefield. So very nice card, specialty card for those kind of decks, but I think you're gonna see this guy a lot more often. He's very cheap and pretty easy to do his abilities, so pretty nice. Alright, these gold cards, we'll take a look at it later in the week when we are looking at the gold cards. So that'll be it for now, guys. I want to know what you think of these cards. Do you agree, disagree with what I think of some of them? I'm sure I'm wrong on some of them, so let me know what you think of the cards. So that'll be it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.